What just happened to all of you? It's about to get worse.
Joanna, we know you've spoken with the baptizer.
John, something's happening. John, there's a plot. They're going to kill you.
The wait is finally over. The first episode of The Chosen Season 5 has arrived, and trust me, it's unlike anything you've seen before. Betrayal, intense emotions, and a deeper connection between Judas and Jesus than we've ever imagined. If you think you know what's coming next, think again. The trailer has already sent shockwaves through fans, and the premiere is set to leave us all questioning everything. This season promises to take us beyond the surface of biblical events, digging into the raw humanity of the characters, and revealing something we've never truly seen before. Ready to dive in? Let's break it all down. The premiere of The Chosen Season 5 has a new twist that sets it apart from anything we've experienced before. Forget the typical release patterns. This season has chosen to follow its familiar path of debuting in theaters before it hits the app. The first episode premiered in theaters on March 28th, and with subsequent episodes following on April 3rd and April 10th. It's a move that's unconventional, but it works. After all, The Chosen has redefined how faith-based content is consumed, and this theatrical approach only adds to the sense of anticipation. It's one thing to watch the show on your phone, but seeing these sacred moments unfold on the big screen, that's something else entirely. Season 5 is setting a new standard, not just for The Chosen, but for the way we connect with these timeless stories. The trailer alone gives us a glimpse into the emotional stakes of this season, but it's the moments we don't expect that are truly going to hit us hardest. If you followed this show from its humble crowdfunding beginnings to its current success, you know that each season brings something fresh. This season, though, it's more than just a story, it's an experience. The intensity in the trailer is palpable. There's a storm brewing, and you can feel it. But let's talk about the episode itself. Episode 1 kicks things off with a heavy focus on the emotional conflict. From the first few frames, the tension is high. We're immediately thrust into a moment of deep emotional struggle, and it's clear that the challenges ahead for Jesus are going to test not only his physical strength, but his spiritual resolve. The betrayal that looms over the entire season takes shape right from the beginning. And while we know where this story is headed, The Chosen isn't about just following the script. It's about seeing the human side of the people involved. Judas, a character we've all heard of but maybe never truly understood, is at the center of this. And episode 1 doesn't waste any time showing us a side of Judas we didn't expect. The trailer hints at this. Judas and Jesus sharing moments of connection, moments that make you wonder, how can someone so close to Jesus be the one to ultimately betray him? The tension between them is already starting to simmer, but there's a twist that will keep you on edge. It's not just about the betrayal, it's about the emotional weight of the relationship between these two characters. Episode 1 begins to explore this relationship in a way that's never been done before. What's even more fascinating is how The Chosen approaches this. It's easy to label Judas as the villain of the story, but this season the show takes us deeper into his mind. We begin to see him not just as the betrayer, but as a man with his own struggles, fears, and motivations. Judas is human, and that makes everything more complicated. This isn't just about a plot twist. It's about understanding what drives a person to make the choices they do. The first episode lays the groundwork for this emotional exploration, making us question not only Judas's actions, but the nature of betrayal itself. And that's where The Chosen Season 5 sets itself apart. It's not just telling a story we already know, it's giving us a fresh perspective on the human experience. As we move through this season, we're going to be confronted with questions that hit close to home. How do we handle betrayal in our own lives? What does it mean to follow someone even when we don't fully understand what's happening? And perhaps most hauntingly, how do we find redemption when we've already made the ultimate mistake? These are the questions that linger as the premiere unfolds, leaving us eager for more. But it's not just the Judas storyline that has everyone talking. The production value of Season 5 has taken everything to the next level. We're not just talking about bigger sets and more people on screen. This season feels monumental. Every detail, every scene has been meticulously crafted to bring these powerful moments to life in a way that resonates with us on a deeper level. The visuals alone are enough to leave us breathless, but it's the emotional performances that truly sell it. The actors bring so much raw intensity to their roles that you can't help but get lost in the experience. As fans, we've come to expect big moments, but what The Chosen does with episode 1 is unlike anything we've seen before. It pulls us in, forces us to confront uncomfortable truths, and leaves us on the edge of our seats wondering what's coming next. With each new season, the show grows, but it also stays true to the heart and spirit that made us fall in love with it in the first place. Episode 1 is a reminder of why The Chosen has become such a cultural phenomenon and why this season is going to be the one that keeps us talking long after the credits roll. As we dive deeper into The Chosen season 5, one thing becomes immediately clear. The relationship between Jesus and Judas will be explored in ways that will leave us questioning everything we thought we knew about these two characters. The first episode sets the stage for a deep emotional journey into Judas's heart and mind. In the trailer, we see fleeting moments between Jesus and Judas that are unlike anything we've ever seen in the show before. These moments aren't just casual interactions, they're intimate, charged with a sense of connection that feels almost too personal given what we know is coming. And that's where the genius of The Chosen Season 5 lies. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable complexity of Judas's character. Judas is often seen as the villain, the one who betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. His actions are notorious, and we've been conditioned to view him as the ultimate betrayer, the one who threw away everything he had to follow Jesus for mere greed. But The Chosen doesn't settle for this simple narrative. Instead, it digs into Judas's humanity, peeling back layers that force us to see him not just as the villain, but as a man with a story. A man with vulnerabilities, fears, and emotions that make his choices all the more tragic. From the very beginning of Season 5, the show presents a Judas who is not simply a caricature of betrayal, but a complex individual grappling with his own demons. The trailer for Episode 1 hints at the tension between Jesus and Judas in a way that's almost painful to watch. There's a scene where the two share a quiet moment, something that at first glance might seem ordinary. But knowing the future of their relationship, it becomes loaded with emotion. You can see the bond between them, the trust that has been built over time, and the deep affection that Jesus has for Judas. It's a subtle yet powerful moment that shows the true depth of their relationship. Jesus is not just a teacher to Judas. He's someone who sees past Judas's flaws, someone who believes in him, someone who has shared a journey with him that has meant everything to both of them. But the question lingers, how can this man who has been so close to Jesus, who has shared meals, teachings, and moments of love with him, be the one to betray him? The emotional stakes of Judas's betrayal are heightened because of this very intimacy. When the moment of betrayal finally arrives, it will not only shatter the relationship between Jesus and Judas, but it will also break something inside of us as viewers. Judas isn't just betraying a friend, he's betraying someone who has invested deeply in him, someone who has shown him love, compassion, and trust. And that betrayal, which we know is coming, feels all the more devastating because of the moments like this. Moments where we see how deeply they've connected. The brilliance of The Chosen lies in how it humanizes these biblical figures. It's not enough to just present Judas as a villain who makes one bad choice. This season forces us to grapple with the question, what makes someone betray someone they love? The writers of The Chosen are daring us to think about Judas in a new light, to step into his shoes and understand his inner turmoil. The closer Jesus gets to Judas, the more heart-wrenching the eventual betrayal becomes. It's not just about Judas' decision to turn his back on Jesus. It's about the pain of realizing how much love and trust he's throwing away. That's what makes Season 5's exploration of Judas so powerful. It's not a simple tale of good versus evil. It's a tragedy of human weakness, confusion, and ultimately despair. As we move through Season 5, the tension between Judas and Jesus will continue to build, culminating in moments that will leave us questioning the nature of trust, love, and redemption. Judas's arc is one of the most compelling of the season, and the first episode gives us just a glimpse of the emotional depth that will be explored. But it's not just about Judas, it's about Jesus' unwavering love for him, despite knowing what's coming. That love, that profound understanding will be tested in ways we've never seen before. And we as viewers will be right there with them, feeling every moment of their relationship as it shifts, as it cracks, and as it ultimately breaks apart. In the midst of all the tension and the heavy emotional weight, there's a profound message here that love and betrayal are not always clear-cut. Sometimes the lines between good and evil are blurred, and the people we think we understand the most turn out to be far more complicated than we ever imagined. Judas, a man we've all judged for centuries, is now being given a chance to show his side of the story. And it's this exploration of humanity, this deep dive into the hearts and minds of these iconic characters that makes The Chosen Season 5 so incredibly unique. It's not just about retelling a biblical story, it's about inviting us into the lives of these people, making us feel their pain, their confusion, and their hope. And as the season unfolds, we'll all be left to wonder, can anyone truly understand the weight of betrayal, or are we all just playing roles in a much larger story? As The Chosen continues to unfold in Season 5, the stakes are higher than ever. The first episode sets the tone for what's to come, a season filled with heart-wrenching moments, emotional confrontations, and a relentless tension that builds with each passing scene. The journey is no longer just about the teachings of Jesus or the miracles he performs. It's about the deep emotional and psychological struggles of the characters, the complexities of their relationships, and the profound consequences of the choices they make. Each decision has ripple effects, and the weight of those decisions begins to hit harder as the season progresses. As episode 1 wraps up, the tension is palpable, leaving us on the edge of our seats, wondering how much worse things can get, and how much longer these characters can hold on before everything unravels. The looming betrayal, the cracks in the friendships, and the inevitable emotional fallout are all woven into the fabric of the season from the very beginning. But it's not just Judas who faces a complex internal battle. The other disciples are starting to feel the weight of their loyalty to Jesus. As they get closer to the pivotal events leading to the crucifixion, their faith is tested in ways they never imagined. In Season 5, we see more than just the acts of service and moments of joy. This season brings a rawness to the characters that we haven't fully seen before. The uncertainty of what's to come has begun to infiltrate their lives, and it's no longer just about following Jesus. It's about understanding the gravity of their actions and their roles in this larger narrative. One of the most gripping aspects of Season 5 is the dynamic between the disciples. As the tension with Judas mounts, the group begins to feel the strain. They've been through challenges together before, but nothing compares to the emotional turmoil they face now. There are moments when the disciples question their own loyalty, when they begin to wonder if they've misunderstood everything they've been following. Their faith is shaken, and in the shadow of the coming betrayal, their unity starts to falter. The stakes are no longer about following the teachings of Jesus. It's about whether or not they will remain faithful in the face of impending darkness. This adds a layer of suspense that hasn't been as prominent in previous seasons. We're no longer just watching the story unfold, we're feeling the internal struggles of the characters as they try to find their way through the chaos. But it's not just the disciples who are feeling the weight of these rising stakes. Jesus, too, is carrying a burden that is impossible to fully comprehend. As the season progresses, we begin to see the depth of his understanding of what's coming. The trailer hints at the emotional toll his journey takes on him, and it's clear that he knows the full extent of the betrayal that's about to unfold. But what's most heartbreaking is that Jesus doesn't just react to the betrayal, he feels it. He feels the weight of it, not just as a teacher or a leader, but as a friend, as someone who has loved these men with an unconditional, unwavering love. His heart is breaking, and the magnitude of what he knows is coming hits harder than ever. Every smile, every act of kindness, every teaching he shares is tinged with the knowledge of the pain that awaits him. This isn't just a physical journey, it's an emotional one too, and we're right there with him, feeling the rising tension with each passing moment. The first episode of Season 5 doesn't just introduce these conflicts, it brings them to a boiling point. The tension between Judas and Jesus, the internal struggles of the disciples, and the mounting emotional cost for Jesus are all carefully interwoven, setting the stage for a season that promises to be an emotional roller coaster. And just when you think you can't handle any more, the show raises the stakes even higher. The series doesn't allow us to sit comfortably in the narrative. It constantly challenges us to question our understanding of these iconic characters and the events that shaped their lives. Every scene feels like it could be the turning point, and every moment brings us closer to the inevitable heart-wrenching outcome. This rising tension is what makes The Chosen Season 5 so compelling. It's not just about the story, it's about the emotional depth of the characters and the profound impact of their choices. The stakes are so high that we're not just watching a biblical event unfold, we're living it with them. The pressure is mounting for everyone involved, and the emotional stakes are growing with every passing episode. It's a thrilling, suspenseful ride that keeps us on edge, constantly asking ourselves, how will it all end? Will the disciples remain faithful, or will they scatter when the truth is revealed? Will Judas finally make his fateful decision, and how will Jesus respond? These questions hang over us, creating an intense emotional investment that only deepens with every scene. And as we move forward, we can't help but feel the anticipation building. With every new episode, the tension will continue to rise, pushing the characters to their breaking points and ultimately forcing us to confront the true meaning of loyalty, betrayal, and redemption. The Chosen Season 5 isn't just a retelling of a well-known story. It's an exploration of the emotional heart of that story, and it's taking us on a journey that's both thrilling and heartbreaking. As the season unfolds, the stakes will only continue to grow, and the tension will become unbearable, leaving us counting down the days until we get to the next episode. As The Chosen Season 5 progresses, we're not just witnessing the unfolding of a pivotal chapter in the story of Jesus, it's becoming more apparent that this season is set to redefine how we view the entire series. The emotional roller coaster we've been riding throughout the first episodes is only the beginning. With every new trailer, every new revelation, we're drawn deeper into the legacy of these characters. What's so remarkable about The Chosen is that it doesn't just present a moment in history. It invites us to sit in the raw emotional reality of what those moments might have truly felt like. Season 5 is without a doubt the show's most ambitious yet. It's a season that digs deeper into the human experience, exploring themes of faith, doubt, loyalty, and betrayal in ways that resonate far beyond the confines of the story itself. One of the most intriguing aspects of this season is how the cast has responded to the challenges and opportunities presented by the storyline. The actors themselves have spoken about the deep personal transformation they've experienced through their roles, and this is evident in every scene. The emotional weight of Season 5 is not just being carried by the characters, it's being shared by the cast whose performances are more raw and authentic than ever before. The passion they bring to their roles is contagious, and it's impossible to watch without feeling that same passion well up inside us. There's a vulnerability in the performances this season, especially when it comes to the portrayal of Judas. We see him not just as a betrayer, but as a man in turmoil, conflicted between his actions and the love he's received from Jesus. It's a performance that will force us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about the man who has long been viewed as the ultimate villain in Christian history. But while Judas' storyline is a focal point, The Chosen Season 5 is also expanding the emotional and thematic horizons of the show. The dynamic between Jesus and the disciples continues to evolve, showing us not only their unwavering loyalty, but also the cracks that start to appear as the pressure builds. Their struggle to reconcile the love they have for Jesus with the overwhelming fear of what's coming is a powerful theme that will resonate with many viewers. It's a human experience that transcends time and place. We see their uncertainty and doubts mirrored in our own lives, and it's this relatability that makes The Chosen so much more than a historical drama. It becomes a mirror for our own struggles with faith, fear, and love. Season 5 also marks a significant moment in the journey of The Chosen as a whole. The production values are higher than ever, with stunning visuals that complement the emotional intensity of the story. The sets are grander, the crowd scenes more powerful, but despite the increased scale, the heart of the show remains the same. This season feels like a culmination of everything that's come before it. The years of development, the challenges of crowdfunding, and the incredible support from fans. The show's success is now a global phenomenon, and with that success comes an even greater responsibility to handle these sacred stories with the utmost care and respect. The season's themes of betrayal, sacrifice, and redemption hit so much harder because of the years of investment we as viewers have poured into these characters. We've seen them grow, struggle, and triumph, and now as we approach the final chapters, the emotional payoff is something we've been waiting for with bated breath. But as much as The Chosen Season 5 is about the emotional journey of its characters, it's also about something bigger, a reflection on faith itself. The series at its core has always been about more than just the life of Jesus. It's about the transformation that happens in those who follow him. It's about the moments of doubt, the questions, and the revelations that define our own spiritual journeys. This season more than ever encourages us to reflect on our own relationships with faith. How do we navigate moments of uncertainty? How do we reconcile love with betrayal, trust with doubt? These are the questions The Chosen poses, and it does so in a way that is both deeply personal and universally relatable. Looking ahead, the final episodes of The Chosen Season 5 are poised to be some of the most intense and emotionally charged yet. As we witness the fallout from Judas's betrayal, as the disciples grapple with their own understanding of what's happening, and as Jesus prepares for the unimaginable, the stakes are only going to continue to rise. We'll be forced to confront the darkest moments of this journey, but we'll also see the brightest light: redemption. The power of forgiveness, the depth of grace, and the triumph of love over all things will be explored in ways that will leave us breathless. The Chosen Season 5 isn't just a retelling of a biblical story. It's an invitation to witness the depth of the human experience, to sit in the tension of doubt and faith, and to reflect on our own lives in the process. As we approach the culmination of this season, one thing is certain: the emotional and spiritual impact of The Chosen will stay with us long after the final credits roll. So, as we move forward through this season, remember that The Chosen is more than just a show. It's a journey. And as with any journey, the road gets tougher before it gets better. But the reward when it comes will be nothing short of extraordinary. Prepare yourselves for a season that will test your faith, break your heart, and ultimately remind you of the power of redemption.